An Indiana dentist who is the focus of an IT-Mate investigation could face sanctions against his dental license this week.
Dr. Shadrach Gonqueh is accused of performing unnecessary procedures and overbilling Medicaid.
An IT-Mate investigation found he is not alone. 94 other dentists were flagged by federal investigators as having questionable billing.
IT-Mate's Bennett Haberly explains how his report is already prompting action. Bennett?
Dustin and Brooke, since our report first aired, the Board of Dentistry has filed a consumer complaint against Dr. Shadrach Gonqueh. Numerous others have been filed dating back to 2012. And yet the Attorney General's office has not pursued any action until now, claiming he broke state law governing dentistry, including Medicaid fraud.
Because it's very traumatic to have all your teeth pulled out at once.
Keong Farnsley's appointment at Amazing Family Dental ended with her having 15 of her teeth extracted. She says Dr. Shadrach Gonqueh told her he had to do it to save her.
He said the infection was so bad that if I didn't get them pulled out, I could walk out and have a heart attack and die.
After consenting to having her teeth pulled in August of 2012, Keong says her new dentist told her months later it was unnecessary. She's now one of 5 former patients suing Dr. Gonqueh. Active malpractice lawsuits against him claim he made patients believe they were in imminent danger and needed to immediately have all their teeth pulled or risk death by suffering a heart attack. Aaron Passantine is not suing, but his case follows a similar melody, though not nearly as severe. During his 2013 office visit, dental records show Gonqueh's office recommended he receive $1,300 worth of work. As a disabled filmmaker who works from home, Aaron says he was worried he wouldn't be able to pay for it.
They're like, you're a Medicaid patient, and we're taking care of it, so it's going to be fine.
After, he says, he received 10 fillings in 2 visits, Aaron's original dentist in South Carolina told him surprising news.
And I was basically told that I didn't have any cavities at all, and they messed up some of my teeth in the process.
The South Carolina dentist noted in his chart that Aaron's new fillings had severe overhangs and needed to be replaced.
So when you heard that, what did you think?
I felt like I was mistreated completely.
Aaron, like other former patients, filed a consumer complaint with the Indiana Attorney General's office in May of 2013. 10 months after receiving this acknowledgement letter, Aaron got an email telling him his case had been closed. The AG's office wrote that an expert witness at the IU School of Dentistry could find no evidence whatsoever that the restorations placed by Dr. Gonqueh were placed improperly.
And he basically told me that they couldn't do anything about it.
IT-Mate has found that stories like Keong's and Aaron's are not unique. Additional consumer complaints have been filed against Gonqueh. The most recent was filed last month by the Board of Dentistry based on our initial report. The board did the same thing in 2013, alleging at the time that Gonqueh has not kept up with the standards of care in his dental practice, as evidenced by pulling 32 teeth from a patient without the consent of the patient. We asked Indiana Attorney General Greg Zeller if his office had ever sought to suspend Gonqueh's license. The answer was no.
It's not exactly like a court where we are the prosecutor and make those determinations. We work with the board. These are professionals. They usually send us someone to review with us, and then we have to make the collective decision what charges to bring and what the board wants to hear.
So just so I'm clear, there was no collective decision to ask for summarily suspension of
That's
license.
right.
Despite allegations, consumer complaints, and active lawsuits that date back 3 years, it wasn't until March of this year that the Attorney General's office filed a licensing complaint against Dr. Gonqueh. It accuses him of Medicaid fraud for allegedly overbilling treatments on 158 patients, totaling more than $27,000. He'll face a hearing before the board this week. While Gonqueh and his attorneys declined to comment for this story, in a previous interview, Gonqueh said this.
This story is nothing new. You're looking for something where there is none.
Dr. Gonqueh's name also appears on a list of 95 Indiana dentists who federal inspectors say may have billed Medicaid for services that are not medically necessary or were never provided. While the November report does not prove fraud occurred, it notes some dentists may warrant further scrutiny. Indiana's Medicaid Director Joe Mosier says his office is now working to increase oversight. They've conducted audits and on-site visits asking dentists to justify billing claims.
We can't speak to the specifics of the list or how many are continuing to be under investigation, but what we can say is some of them have been cleared.
Mosier is upset by the publication of the list, claiming many dentists should be exonerated and were inappropriately flagged by federal investigators who misunderstood Indiana's Medicaid policy. He reiterated that some of them have been cleared.
Some is in dozens, some is in 90, some is in 2. How many?
I could not identify the number for you due to the ongoing nature of the scrutiny that we're providing to them.
And the Office of Inspector General targeted Indiana along with 4 other states last year because not only it had outliers, but because of the large number of Medicaid patients. Gonqueh and those 94 other dentists were paid a total of $30 million in Medicaid reimbursements just in 2012. 2/3 of the dentists on that list work for big-name dental chains, which led federal inspectors to write that that raises concerns that these chains may be encouraging their providers to perform unnecessary procedures to increase profits.
So will we ever know the outcome of those investigations?
We do know, based on what the Medicaid director told us, that there are some dentists that are still under investigation, although he wouldn't say exactly how many. As you heard him say, he doesn't want to reveal that exactly. Also, we know that the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services had to be given that list, but they won't even acknowledge whether or not an investigation on their part exists.